lot of people like, yeah, praying for a girl, hoping for a girl, and all of that. I won't be unhappy. I won't be unhappy if this is a girl. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all good. Please remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell below, and follow me on my social media platforms. Join my Instagram family. It is growing, it is engaged. You'll love it there. I haven't done an Ask Me Anything video in a really long time, and I was just like, yeah, let me just do one. You know, I always find it fun and interesting to see and to find out what it is that people are really curious about. So there's quite a few questions. A lot of them overlapped. It was kind of like the same question being asked by different people. I just put them all together. I'm not a healthcare professional. I just want to put that out there. So for any of these questions which are like medically related and you know that kind of thing, health related, please don't take my word for it. It's always best for you to consult a medical professional. Every time I mention anything about hospitals, about PCOS, about anything like that, that's just from my own personal experience. I just want to put that out there. Any advice for first-time moms? Breastfeeding tips, juggling work, home life, etc. Wow, I feel like this is a whole video on its own. The overall advice I'd give to a first-time mom: keep in mind you are doing this for the first time. I fell into the trap of thinking that I'm a woman, I've been trained for this. You know, society has done a really great job making us believe and think that as soon as our babies come here, it's gonna work like magic. We're gonna know exactly what we're doing. It's just going to fall into place. There are a lot of stories and people who say like, oh, it just clicked and you know, my motherly instinct just kicked in. And that's not necessarily true for a lot of women. There are a lot of things that you're not gonna know, that they don't teach you in hospital. So it's really important to give yourself grace, give yourself time, be patient with yourself. Just as the baby is new, you are also new in your role as a mother. You have never been a mother before, ever. No matter how many times you have babysat someone else's kid, played with dolls, trust me, it is nothing like the real thing, and it's your child. Not like you have the child for a couple hours and then you hand them off to their parents. No, like 24/7, this is your baby. It's your first time. So I think a lot of us, myself in particular, I fell into that trap of thinking, why am I so terrible at this? Why don't I know why he's crying? Looking back on it, I'm like, oh my God, I was so hard on myself. And I can understand how that led to my postpartum depression, because I had such high expectations of myself and I felt like the world, our families and everything was looking at me to just do this perfectly, and there really is no such thing. So give yourself grace, give yourself time to learn this baby, to learn this new role, to recover from birth. It's huge, and if you're feeling overwhelmed, it's rightly so. It is a massive task, and so that would be like my top line advice. But I have written a lot about this on my blog. I've done so many videos that covers each of these topics very specifically. Do have a look at my mom playlist. I'll put the link in the description box, as well as my blog post, Dear First Time Mama, for something that's more in-depth. Giving birth during vid times. What was your experience? As many of you know, I had a baby already in 2020, but this was like really, really severe. I think it was like level 4 lockdown, with the original level 4, by the way, where we weren't allowed to like leave the house unless we were getting groceries type of thing. Full details and stuff in this video. The biggest tip that I can give you is to check with your medical healthcare provider what the rules are at the place that you're planning on giving birth. Who can come with you? Who can be there to support you while you're giving birth? What the process is during labor times? What are the rules? Do you have to wear the mask? Can you be in active labor without the mask? With having PCOS, what advice would you give for someone trying to conceive? I think it's really important, first and foremost, to understand how severe your PCOS is. Make sure that you have that open conversation, open dialogue with whoever diagnosed you with PCOS. I would definitely check levels, because that's what I had to do. I needed to get a baseline to see how my hormones were, how imbalanced they were. I know that some of my friends and some women that I know, they went down a different route in terms of the treatment for their PCOS. I definitely believe in a more holistic route, that it's not just about pumping your body with medicine or hormones. It's about, looking at your hormones, your diet, your weight, your mental health. Like, it all works together. And so if one of those things is off, off, chances are it's going to affect a lot of the other stuff, including your fertility. I have talked about this in this video where, I'm sharing the steps that I took to conceive naturally, and by naturally I mean without IVF, without any of those kinds of like interventions. So have a look at that video for more details and more tips on that. Do you know the gender of the baby, or do you prefer it to be a surprise? So I don't share. Me and Kev just like to sit with that information a little bit. We don't really like sharing every single piece of information about our unborn baby. Specifically with the gender, I normally don't share outside of family before the baby shower. I've never liked the idea of like, oh, blue is for boys and pink is for girls. I really feel like if you know the sex before the baby shower, a lot of people would flood you with blue, just blue. And I was like, I remember with Kai, I'm like, I don't want blue for my boy. I want different colors and I want monochrome. If Kai was a girl, then I'll just be flooded with pink stuff. So that's why I kept the gender a secret publicly, like on my platforms and stuff. I normally don't reveal until I actually have the baby. I think it's just nice to just have something to myself. The name is a surprise as well. We don't want other people's input on the name. Once the baby's here and you put the name on the birth certificate, that's it. No one can say anything about it. So are you hoping for a girl, or you regard and prefer being a boy mom? A lot of people like, yeah, praying for a girl, hoping for a girl, and all of that. I won't be unhappy. I won't be unhappy if this is a girl. I feel like there's a lot of gender disappointment that happens with parents, and it's something that for me, I'm like, it's just not worth it for me. I'm so grateful that I'm able to have babies. I'm so grateful. I don't take that for granted. It's not a guarantee. And so for me, I know it sounds cliche when people say this, but I do genuinely mean it. I really just hope for a healthy baby, healthy, happy baby. I'm so grateful for my boys. I absolutely adore them. I don't think that I'm being robbed of anything for being a boy mom. So at the end of the day, they're humans who need love and protection and nurturing and shaping. They have emotions and experiences and all of that, just like a girl child would. When it comes to the girl in particular, it's the stuff that I feel like I'm missing out on. It's so superficial compared to everything else. It's, dressing the little girl up in like cute little outfits, because let's be real, I know I figured out how to dress up my boys and stuff, but girls' clothes are just so much cuter. It kind of ends there. It's that and maybe one or two other things like hairstyles, for example. But again, looking at the bigger picture, it doesn't hurt me so much, So if this is a boy, it is another boy, and it's another person. It's another half O'Reilly, half Mchumo baby, and I love that, I'm not hoping desperately for a girl, and I think it's something that I hope the society is going to kind of get over after a while, because I feel like it's a lot of pressure on the child that hasn't even been born yet. How did you feel when you found out you're pregnant with baby number 3? Well, I did a video about that. Recently shared a video all about how I found out that I was pregnant. I don't think I necessarily delved into how I felt about it that much. Honestly, I was shocked. I was surprised. I was really surprised. And I say that, let me be real, I say that because we were not actively trying to fall pregnant. I was on birth control. I was on the pill. And so that's what I mean by we were surprised. It wasn't like I wasn't on anything. We had already said that if we were ever to have any more kids, we're going to have that conversation much later on. And so there are a lot of things that were going on at that time that did not factor in a baby from a time perspective, from a mental perspective, from financial perspective. We hadn't put any of those things in place to be like, oh, we might get pregnant. So when I found out that I was pregnant, it was really like, oh, okay, right. What do we do? And coupled with the fact that I was really sick as well, my first trimester, it was a very tricky time for me to get my head around it mentally, but I needed to give myself that space. I actually spoke to a couple of my friends who also had surprise babies or who had 3 kids or more, and I was just like, I need your help here. Like, I'm not quite sure how to handle this right now. And they gave me great advice. And one of them also told me like, look, you need to just just give yourself this space, give yourself the grace to feel all of the feelings that you're feeling. I think a lot of people kind of forget that yes, of course it's happy news, but it's news that impacts a lot of your other life, and you need to be ready for that and prepared for that. And I think when you haven't had a child yet, you don't necessarily know how much of an impact it makes, but having had 2 kids already and having really planned for those 2, and so now having a surprise baby, is like I had to have a lot of those conversations with myself, a lot of those conversations with my husband as well, just in terms of our house, for example. Do we have enough room? Do we have enough space in our car? Do we need to get another car? So there's a lot of things that happen after you find out that you're pregnant that I think the world doesn't really talk a lot about. And even if you are married, it is still quite like a whoa. Okay, how do we handle this? How do we move forward and make sure that our life is ready for another child? Thank you so much to everybody who sent in these questions. If you have any more, please drop a comment. Like I said, with a lot of the topics that I covered today, this is very much top line answers for this video, but you can get some more information, more tips, more advice, and all of that in my videos. So I'll put the links in the description box below. If you found this video helpful or informative or just fun to watch, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, follow me on social media, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Hope you have a great rest of day, and I'll see you in the next video.